The headlines tonight on Dateline 2018. The results are in and America has decided. The US midterm elections have concluded and we know all the results because this programme is live and not pre-recorded the day before.
For instance, we can now tell you that New York went Democrat.
And that is just a taster and also proof that this wasn't recorded before the results were announced.
Harry and Meg's return from their right royal adventure down under. And we'll be joined by the author of a book about the couple we all love to love.
Yes, Jack. Everybody loves them and nobody has any issue with the institution they belong to. I'm sure I speak for everyone when I say they can have more of my money if they want.
You do speak for everybody, James.
Christmas movies on the telly, a smell of cinnamon latte in Starbucks, and everyone's thinking mulled wine is an acceptable drink.
Stop it, it's November. Get a grip. It's not Christmas, but this most certainly is Dateline 2018. Good evening. The eyes of the world have been firmly trained on the American voters this week as we waited to find out whether they would take this opportunity to go some way towards apologising for the fascist liar they put in 2 years ago or endorse his far-right rhetoric and remind the world why Americans always have to pretend to be Canadian whilst they're on holiday. James, it was a fascinating night, wasn't it?
I was on the edge of my seat when I watched it, live, by which I mean before this point.
Yes, I also watched it in the past.
In a sentence, Jack, sum up everything that we obviously already know.
Well, I'd be happy to. As we know,
the Republicans won.
Exactly. That is what happened.
Indeed, it is what happened. So what can we read into this result?
What result? Oh yes, that result. Well, I think, it's inevitable that
Trump supporters will see this as an endorsement.
But they may worry
that this will only galvanise the Democrats for 2020.
Fascinating.
It is, will be, or was.
Now this, of course, wasn't a presidential election. No, it was the midterms where they elect not presidents. To explain the complexities of what goes where, here's Colette Coleman.
These US midterm elections have been billed as the first great test of Donald Trump's controversial presidency. But given his propensity for spitting the dummy, it was probably always going to get worse regardless of the outcome.
If you don't speak English and don't contribute, get out!
But here's the thing. Donald Trump wasn't actually on the ballot. Confused? Let me break it down. The midterm elections take place every 4 years when voters send senators to Congress, which of course is in the House of Representatives. No, wait. Representatives go to the House and senators go to the Senate. Obviously, because it's the Senate. So what's a Congress? Well, we can come back to that. They also pick governors. Some of them anyway, not all of them. 34 states do. Well, actually 36, because Vermont and New Hampshire do it every 2 years. So that must be the Congress, because it can't be empty. Unless the Congress is the name for the House and the Senate. But then who's in charge? Is it the White House? No, it can't. What did they do at the West Wing? Just walk and talk. That doesn't help. No. I'm doubting myself here. I'm all turned round. Sorry, I really thought I had this.
Now, when you present a news programme, you come up against your fair share of controversies.
That's right, James. You just can't please everyone all of the time. Except, of course, for two things. We all hate benefits cheats, and we all love a royal couple. Not the crap one from the other week, the Eugene one. Top tier royals, the fairy tale come true ones.
And no fairy tale be fairy tailing, quite like the fairy tale that is travelling around the South Pacific with Harry and Meg's. Yes, they're just back from their holiday of a lifetime, gladly paid for by we, the adoring British public. And to help me gush some more is fellow sycophant and author of Harry and Meghan's Budget Traveller, the unofficial guide. I'm talking, of course, about Bosie Bosenket. Mr. Bosanquet, thank you for coming on the programme. Obviously, your book's great, but obviously, with a subject like Harry and Meg's, how could it be anything else?
Oh gosh, yes. They're just champions of humans, a match made in heaven. And you can always imagine you'd have such a good laugh with them. But you just laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh.
Mr. Bosanquet, you've spent a lot of time with the royal couple during their travels, haven't you?
Emotionally, yes. I feel I understand their biorhythms.
But physically, you have spent time with them?
No. Well, not since the restraining order, but I have been following them avidly on Instagram.
Okay, well, on that note, why don't you talk us through some of these most memorable images from the holiday of a lifetime? Now, let's start with this one. This caused a little bit of a snafu, did it not, when Harry and Meghan both turned up as bird person from Rick and Morty?
Oh, yes. I remember reading about it in the Telegraph, and it just made me laugh and laugh and laugh. Oh, and I turned to my wife, who is no longer there, but if she had been there, she'd have laughed and laughed and laughed.
And what about this footage here? Am I right in thinking that Harry sparked a legendary doob here?
Yes, but not Meghan. No, she did not partake. She was still coming down from a half a dozen swedges from the night before. Her stomach was like a walnut. But Harry and the rest of the guys, I have it on good authority, they just laughed and laughed and laughed.
Now, forgive me if I'm reading this wrong, but this can't be right. You're going to have to explain this to me, Mr. Bosanquet.
Oh, yes. This was the charming little colonial boy. A scamp of a lad, had a good heart. He knocked his own teeth out with a hammer to make a necklace for the Duchess. I think something we'd all like to have the courage to do. And, well, as soon as Meghan saw it, she just laughed and laughed and laughed.
It seems like there was a lot of laughter on this trip.
Yes, but of course there was one shadow over the holiday, and that was when Prince Harry's beloved gnome, Mr. Flimplebum, mysteriously exploded in the middle of a press conference with some bald man.
That's tragic.
Yes, well, he is a trooper.
Bosie Bosanquet, thank you. This is Dateline 2018. You can tweet us or follow us on Instagram at Dateline 2018, and we're on Facebook.com/Dateline.
Or, for our Spanish viewers, that's 2018.
Oh, have you been brushing up on your Spanish?
That's a pending court case, James, as you well know, but I have been going to classes, yes.
Is it going well?
Bien. ¿Hablas español?
Sí. Yo quiero dos cervezas, por favor.
Oh, what does that mean?
It means, no, Your Honour, I've never met her, or at least I hope so.
I'm genuinely impressed, James. But anyway, moving on, I have a letter here from a viewer.
How lovely.
Yes, this is from a Hans Spring in the north of England, and he writes, I hate your programme. It is self-indulgent and increasingly losing any relevance. You were good in the Indie Ref, but you should have stopped there. Rather than inflicting this self-indulgent, and he goes on in a similar vein for some time, there's some drawings too here. I'd describe them as graphic, but quite well executed.
But we always love your feedback, so please keep them coming in, especially if you disagree with that guy. Now, a genuine treat for Dateline 2018 viewers. A one-off Ripple in Time has allowed us to see this week's lottery numbers.
Grab a pen and paper, because we've been told we can only do this the once.
That's, of course, except for those in the regional backwaters. For you, it's the news where you are.
Hello, and welcome to Dateline Scotland. In a devastating blow to the nationalists, the UK government shrewdly withholds €230 million from Scottish farmers. Scottish Secretary and true patriot David Mundell said they'll probably just spend it on drugs. And Shadow First Minister Jackson Carlo effortlessly dismantles Nicola Sturgeon's car crash speech in Holyrood this week.
And this is a failure of character on my part, which my party can scarcely forgive, let alone understand. I actually quite like the First Minister.
Yes! What about that, Nicola? But first, a 25-year-old Skinflats man was sentenced yesterday afternoon to 200 hours community service and a £50 fine after an argument with the police over the shape of a nearby fence turned violent. Nathan Paisley has more.
It's been dubbed the Falkirk Rammy, a crime and therefore not allowed under the rules of the law, as dispensed here by the local sheriff. As Sheriff Michael Hunt said in his summing up to 25-year-old Bobby Lemon this morning, this was a silly thing to do. I appreciate you've apologised. I hope not to see you again. Lemon emerged from these doors just 10 minutes ago, visibly walking, unaided, after the judge smashed him with a sentence of 50 hours community service and a £20 fine. And here it is, the offending article which put Mr. Lemon in such a tiz. And I'm sure I speak for all of us when I say we can see what Mr. Lemon was getting at. This is Nathan Paisley, outside the fence that caused such offence in Skinflats, for Dateline Scotland.
Nathan Paisley outside the Falkirk Sheriff Court there. And finally, Hibs manager Neil Lennon this week was hit in the face by a coin, probably because of his religion.
Yeah. So, an answer, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
I think we should ad-lib though.
What are we going to get from it? There's no advantage to be gained by ad-libbing.
We don't have any script. We have to finish the show somehow.
Well, we can write it, and then we've got a script, and that's how the show will end.
I haven't been writing any of this down. Were you expecting?
Yeah, no, but if we ad-lib it, then it won't be as good as if we actually wrote down some coherent jokes and we end the show in a satisfying way. You don't want people to end on a sort of like, what was that? Didn't make any sense.
Yeah, we would be shortchanging the viewers a bit then.
We would.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, well, let's just do it live.
Yeah, let's do it live.
Okay.
Okay.